I love the idea of Valorant's existence. I don't want to play it. I don't see a single reason to past the intrusive anti-cheat that supposedly wards off every single cheater that knocks on the door to the online mode. But its existence is one that I very much encourage. It makes my shooter of choice, CS, a better game by being its competition. Hi, but you can just simply call me Amazon, and before the video starts, I'm going to give you some background. I have around 4,500 hours in CS, climbing from a bad console Call of Duty player to the highest ranks in CSGO. Not that high though. I've never been a natural at aiming or anything like that, but CS managed to capture my attention for a long time. I've never wanted much more from Counter-Strike, and I think that the end product that was Counter-Strike Global Offensive at the time of the reveal of the upgrade to Source 2 and the name change to Counter-Strike 2 was almost perfect aside from technical issues and stale things like the lack of movement in the map rotation and bullshit like one-way smokes. That's why I never felt the need to go play Valorant. I didn't feel the hype nearly at all. I didn't care. I still don't honestly, and after this video I will not be going back to Valorant. That's me. I know CS in and out. I can use a mouse and I know the basics of the genre very well. I know what a lurker and a peek is. I know counter-strafing and spray transfers. I don't know Reyna and Cypher. I don't know Breeze and the Vandal spray pattern. I only played a little bit of Valorant. This is a first impressions video after all, and I can't say I actually know this game very well. I also only played a single character. I've seen a Chinese guy dress up as in real life. I didn't use all the guns, and I didn't manage to level up enough to play the real competitive mode. Starting the game wasn't the best experience. I had a Valorant E-date lined up, but we couldn't join each other. Some issue with different game versions or something. A non-issue if we could manually or even semi-automatically search for the latest updates. But that's not a thing, so we never played any games. The UI overall is sleek and modern, in a way that will feel outdated and overplayed in a couple of years, but right now I can't really hate it. It's also okay to traverse. In-game, things look just as sleek, a timeless art style in terms of fidelity. A good choice. Some will look at it and dismiss it right then and there just because it looks kind of cartoony and League of Legends, Team Fortress 2, Sifu anime-like, but yeah. It's timeless and I respect the devs for actually making a choice instead of just making another kind of realistic wargame. It's not a choice for everyone, but it's a choice, which again is commendable. What isn't, however, is the voice lines. Man, it's just so over the top. The characters talking to each other is so fake E3 gameplay trailer actory, and honestly kind of cringe.
I'm thinking of throwing a grenade down here, but I'm gonna need somebody to cover me before I do it.
I don't like it. Visibility is great overall, but once the abilities come to play, visibility instead becomes dreadful. Skins is something else I think the game does very badly. That is only partially true honestly, because frankly, it's something essentially all modern games do badly. These in-game purchases are simply cruel. A FOMO fest of expensive and over-the-top animation gifs, chroma key effects, and anime puke. It all looks so try-hard and serious, so clean and samey. This is something only very few games do right. The earlier Call of Duty titles come to mind, putting these behind challenges. CS has its economy, being able to sell and trade, but also making every single skin in the game distinguishable with float values and patterns. I won't delve into this further, but paid skins are something I don't like in most games, and Valorant doesn't do much to change my mind. But past the crust, the look and sound, the skins and the menus, how does the game actually play? That's a great question, and one I can only try to answer. I only played this game for a couple of hours, you know. First of all, the movement. It's the first thing you'll notice after all. It's okay. It can be meaningfully expanded with the use of some characters, but the basics will stay the same. You move with the buttons. You know the ones. Jump and crouch. You can walk to move quickly while silent and stuff. It's CS but less deep. But why is it less deep? Let's get into some of the reasons why. First, you can't bunny hop, which is just boring. Why force me to stay on the ground and run around like sheep? Let me go a little faster with the trade-off that failing slows me down instead. You can't boost. This is a choice they made. You can't stand on a friend's head to get places you shouldn't get to without a slower rotation. You also can't get thrown across the map for a fun opening kill with a run boost, which is a bummer. Strafing is also not something the game wants you to focus on as much. In CS you have to be completely still before you shoot, or your shot will fly across the map. In Valorant, you move so slow you don't really need to think about that at all. Breaking timings is something you can't really do overall in Valorant without using abilities like teleports and dashes. Adding to this is the wall forcing you to run out of your spawn at the same time every time. This is boring. No fun rush B strats because of a B spawn here. Removing randomness is something I usually advocate for, but this almost entirely removes the need to watch for timings and makes lurkers playing around with these timings a lot less dangerous. Again, randomness in a game like this is bad. So why would you add more? By removing spray patterns. I don't understand this decision at all. It makes the game worse on all levels of play except maybe the lowest level that feel like fish out of water having to learn spray patterns to spray accurately. I dislike this. No, I hate this. There are a lot more things I could talk about, like the lack of defender and attacker-sided weapons, making saving weapons less important, and one-shot headshot with rifles into both an attacker and defended-sided thing, and so on. But this isn't that video, so let's get into the last big thing before we conclude this video, the revelation that made me stick to CS after all. Valorant proves that less is more. Every long-time CS player have been bored and burned out with the game and thought up frankly stupid ideas in their heads to make the game quote-unquote better. My idea has always been a new gun, almost exactly like the Guardian we see in Valorant, but without the scope and with crazy accuracy. I know now that my idea is kind of stupid. It's a long-range deagle, a scout without a scope. See where I'm going with this? It has no reason to exist, and Valorant proved that to me. There are over 20 legends in Valorant as of writing this video. To me, that's more than enough for the inevitable final version of the game. A roster big enough to delve into for literal decades. Super Smash Bros. Acts as a great case study. Scratch that one off the bingo board. This is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, a game with over 70 characters with distinctly different movesets. They, just like Valorant, fit very well into archetypes. This makes for a remarkably broad game. A game about staying back and reacting to and learning a super wide variety of matchups and gimmicks. This, rather, is Super Smash Bros. Melee, a game with half the amount of characters, with about half of them actually being used. This means players quickly get past the otherwise wide and gimmicky part of learning the game within hundreds of hours instead of thousands. I'm talking about a medium level player here, the invested but not yet tryhard. This wide set of characters is great for the player who wants something new all the time, which is fine. But this player also inevitably leaves for something new and shiny, destroying the game in his or her wake. I'm exaggerating just a bit here, but you get my point. I want something deep, simple on the surface, easy to get into, but immensely hard to truly master. Valorant is hard to get into, forcing you to learn all the matchup in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, all the gimmicks and cheese. It's wide, but it's also, in the vein of Smash Ultimate, simpler in terms of character to character. Instead of banking flashes of walls in CS, we press mouse 1 or 2 to curve them. Instead of power shielding a Falco laser in Melee, we switch to another character with a playstyle that counters it. I prefer the deeper, timeless combat of Melee and CS to the wider and more quote-unquote varied but streamlined combat of Valorant and Ultimate. In conclusion, Valorant is a good thing. It's the rival Counter-Strike needed to start evolving the game and its meta more. It's a point of comparison, to see how great we truthfully have it already in CS. It's the entry drug that will keep it alive by feeding new players into my favorite competitive shooter, but it's not for me personally, outside of as a fun little subversion of the genre. A way to play CS less seriously. But I am also very much biased. The number of hours I have in CS should tell you as much. When I speak about the skins and economy, I'm also very much invested. So go try it for yourself and form your own opinion. It will be different from mine. You might focus on the crust, the art style, more than me. You might hate the intrusive anti-cheat, who knows. I don't have a problem with the art style, except maybe the voice acting getting in the way. I don't like the skins, but I don't like any skins in any game that aren't special in some way. I also think they're super expensive. I positively despise the removal of spray patterns. They are a great way to expand the skill ceiling without making spraying completely random. Why would you ever remove something so cool like a spray transfer? This isn't possible in Valorant without it being complete luck. That's a pretty big loss. I dislike the removal of spawn timings and attacker and defender-sided weapons. The abilities can't be used in unique ways and don't offer up opportunities for growth like CS's or Smash Melee's various moves. It's a one-size-fits-all type of game, and I don't want that. I don't want to gimmick my way to a win. I want to seek that perfection that CS has shown me in the glimpses in my thousands of hours of gameplay. Thanks for watching, and you, fellow patron, thanks for subscribing. I don't really have an outro for this video, so yeah. The Doom video is in the works still. Yeah. Thanks for watching.